It's not home. It's not home. When's it going to come home?
I'll have the light on in the porch.
I mean, I'm still not over the World Cup final in 2017. That was bad enough. Oh.
But Great Britain's coming back.
Great Britain are coming back.
And we can't yet announce the signing for Hawkeye because it's not quite 6
Don't announce it yet. In the Guardian today, Aaron Bower says that Great Britain are coming back. A source at the Rugby Football League. They have sources. Great Britain's coming back for the Tour of Australia next year, which we don't know when the days are, so you can't book your tickets yet, but it's happening.
3 men's and 2 women's test matches, because the third women's one is now in Las Vegas.
So when they've already put out that stuff saying England women versus Australia, they're going to have to colour it out and say it's Great Britain ready.
Don't get the posters for the wall made yet. Might change.
Put Photoshop a Great Britain shirt on top of Jodie Cunningham and say, look, it's Great Britain now. Rich, if you undo the bottom buttons of your shirt and tie the sides in a knot, you would look like Daisy Duke.
I didn't know she had a beard.
No. Andy, whatever you think about it in your own time, we're not here to judge. This is a non-judgmental podcast. And I'm certainly not doing that, Carson. You're all right. So Great Britain's coming back, so that's great.
Well, the initial reports are it's being discussed to come back. And
why?
Well, I can understand it from a marketing point of view. The brand still has some resonance. The slight concern is the Rugby Union Lions are going there 2025. So again,
people might buy tickets to the wrong event.
Well, no, it's more that you spend all this time trying to market a concept to find that somebody has usurped your concept and gone before you, which wouldn't be the first time that's happened in rugby league. There isn't a problem. It's I guess it's a valid idea. The point would be what makes the Lions distinguished from England, and that is you've got to have players in who represent the other nations. And if you're going to do it, don't do it once, because we did it in 2019 and now we're thinking of doing it again in 2020. When would we do it again? How would this become a regular thing? So don't do it just as a one-off because you think it might work, sending a team over to Australia that the public over there recognise more than England or appreciate their historic precedent more than England. What are you actually doing it for, and how is it going to be representative? I can think of a couple of players off the top of my head who you could say, well, one has represented Scotland, the other is eligible to represent Wales, who would enhance the squad. So rather than being tokenistic, all great respect to Ronan Michael, you know, he's Irish, he's making a professional career. Don't think he's eligible to play at that level, you know, but on merit. He's obviously, I hope one day he would be. But clearly James Bell has played for Scotland, and I think at the moment he's one of the former players in Super League, so he would merit the consideration of selection. And the other would be Bradman Best, who could actually be playing for Australia, but he's eligible to play for Wales. And there was talk before the last World Cup had been, you know, approached by Wales. So I think he was injured in the end, and either didn't play or he did make the Aussie squad. I can't quite remember. I've blocked out the fact that we didn't get out of the semi-finals. So they're the calibre of player you could go for. Luke Keary clearly will be playing for.
So it's Great Britain, not and brackets Ireland, and you know.
Well,
don't do anthems. Just don't do that bit.
But Luke Keary will be over here, you know, pre-season for Catalan Dragons. He's Irish, played in the World Cup for Ireland. So you'd have to be looking at that calibre of player, and there'd have to be a commitment to make it representative. Otherwise, it is just England by another name. And supporters, even in Australia, will not tolerate something where they're being told it's one thing and it's actually something else. So, yeah, it's worth the debate, absolutely. But when are we going to do it again after that?
I mean, just in case they make another documentary and they use clips from this podcast again, I better speak clearly and enunciate. So Great Britain, brackets, and Ireland. British Isles 13, whatever. Andy says the Lions don't need to have players from every nation. The Lions are there to represent the Great Britain and Ireland, rather.
Yeah, but I think they do need to have representation beyond just England. Otherwise, you're trying to just, I don't know, artificially produce something that doesn't mean anything.
To sell shirts?
Yeah.
Bring that back again. So if you're Sean Wayne, he's the England coach, last time Wayne Bennett was the England coach and got co-opted into the role, which, as we know, because we've watched the documentary, went brilliantly. Great tour, great success. I mean, the shirts were nice, but
if I'm
I kind of got a holiday.
If I'm Sean Wayne and it's proposed to me that it becomes Great Britain, and therefore you will need to take some players that represent the wider game, otherwise there's no point doing it, I'd be saying, you do know there's a World Cup in 2026. I was going to use this tour to, home up my best team against the opposition that we're going to be playing, so I'd rather not, thank you.
Who's the Great Britain coach then? Ian Watson, he went on the last one, he could do it. He's not doing anything at the minute.
Danny Ward, he could
yeah.
They could go together. Danny is doing something at the moment. He's assistant at Hull KR, but...
And the women are going to be Great Britain as well for the first time since 2003, I'm going to say.
Yeah,
but I could be wrong.
Correct.
So I don't, but again, it's the same question. Are you just going as a gimmick?
That's what you've got to avoid. You've seriously got to say, who could we take that would make it representative of... Well, obviously Scotland women don't have that at the moment. Ireland are getting to the point, but they will have a very important game to see if they can qualify for the World Series, the repechage for the World Cup, but they're not quite at that level yet. So you're looking at who in the Welsh team could possibly be an addition to the England squad, and there probably is only one player who's Bethan Dainton, the captain. So
that is just selling shirts under a different name. But I mean... But again, the same question would be, Stuart Barrow's got to build his squad for the World Cup.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you are going to Las Vegas and you're trying to appeal in part to the American market, England actually is more resonant than Great Britain.
Because they don't know... They know it. Scotland, that's part of England.
Yeah.
He says in an American accent.
Yeah.
Apologies to our American listener. I think we've got some. We used to have some Canadians, but we ran them out of the sport. So Great Britain might be coming back, or might not be. But we'll see.
It's gone 6 o'clock.
I know. Do you want to break the embargo? Well, not break the embargo.
No.
Big transfer news. Diddle-a-dun.
Hull KR have signed Bill Leyland, who is London Broncos hooker, who was the Championship Player of the Year last year, but unfortunately damaged the ACL in pre-season training, so hasn't played in Super League this year. A terrific prospect. I think we know that Matt Parcell is not going to be at Hull KR next year, so to get Bill Leyland in, that's a significant signing for Rovers, and it'd be great to see if he can make his name at Super League level. The shame being he's not going to be able to do it with London because they'll be in the Championship next year.
The great thing about the potential return for Great Britain is for those who like to put together mythical teams. Last week people were putting together mythical Hull combined 13, which surely would just be Hull Kingston Rovers players, because who from the Hull FC squad would get in? Let me look at the table. Hull FC second bottom, Hull KR third. So that's no one, is it? The 17-man squad, 18, 19, the full squad is Hull Kingston Rovers players. So if you were to build a Great Britain squad now, that's the challenge for the Germans. So that's a week's worth of stuff there.
5 players who could play for Great Britain.
There you go. Andy says Sean Wayne's national teams are Wigan and one AN other anyways. That's a bit harsh. A few St Helens players in there. Toby King's Irish, isn't he?
Yes, although he was Irish.
Is George
English,
King Irish?
George King is, but he can't get in the Hull KR team at the moment.